What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the Hangout. I'm your host, BJ Kicks. I buy comics, I read them, I review them, all for your viewing pleasure. And like I said, this is the Hangout. This is the show that we do every Thursday night, about 7 p.m. Eastern Time, barring any emergencies or anything crazy. And we talk about comics, we talk about movies and TV shows, really whatever we want to talk about, all related to the comic book hobby in some way. So if you're watching this on the replay, just want to say thank you for watching the replay, and I hope you can catch us live next time. Now, if you are here in the chat, what is up? Hope you guys are good. I see quite a few people here. Officially Unofficial Geek, Carrie, she is out and about, so she'll be joining us a little bit later. My man Bunkmaster B's here. And congrats to Bunkmaster B. He just uploaded his first video earlier this week. A super huge unboxing. So that's definitely one way to kick off a channel. My man Kev is here. Good evening, sir. Oh, it's really snowy where you are. That's what's up, man. It snowed the last 2 weekends in a row, but really nothing to write home about here in Raleigh. What's up, Mary? I'm glad you're here. So tonight we are talking about, among other things, we're talking about my experience being a comic book YouTuber. I want to kind of demystify some things, debunk a few myths, and hopefully encourage you guys, if this is something that you want to do, give you some tips and strategies that you could use to make the most of it. So that's what we're doing tonight. But before we do, of course, we got to talk about Naomi, because I watched Naomi. I did not finish Superman and Lois episode 4, but we there's enough to talk about with Naomi. So yeah, hopefully you guys are all doing well. What's up? So let's talk about it. My man Steven, aggressively relaxing, says his wild success comes from inconsistent, confusing material. That's one way to do it. Born Hitman is here. Tim Sigler's here. What is up? So before we get too deep into things, I do want to give a quick shout out to the sponsors of the Hangout. So quick shout out to Ultimate Comics. They are my LCS, and in my, very biased opinion, the greatest LCS in the world. They've got 4 shops: Raleigh, Durham, Cary, and the newly opened Crabtree Valley Mall. They've been closed this week they had to move. They had to move stores in the mall. So they're opening a brand new Crabtree Valley Mall location tomorrow at, I believe, 11 a.m. So if you're off work, if you're free and you're in Raleigh, go check that out. They're a great place to get like Funko Pops and posters, as well as graphic novels and even weekly single issues as well. So shout out to Ultimate Comics. And then another shout out to Organic Priced Books. They're the best place to go for collected editions. They're where I buy all my omnibus, trade paperbacks, and so on. If you're interested in buying anything from them, you make sure you use my coupon code BJKicks. That'll save you $2 at checkout. And just for grins and giggles, they're not sponsoring the show, but this week we are officially inside of Black History Month. It is February, and I don't know if there's any greater artifact of Black history in comics than this milestone compendium that they just released. This pretty much collects the entire first year of Milestone Media's publishing line from 1993. Definitely a must-have if you're a Milestone fan, if you're curious about Black superheroes, and if you want more diversity in the stories that you're reading. Definitely something to check out. You can grab that at Organic Price Books as well. You can see what all it collects. The cover price on it is $60, but you can get it for over 25% off. Use my discount code at OPB. So now all the bills have been paid, and we can talk. What's up, Rancid Thorn? Yo, listen, this Milestone Compendium, it's worth every penny, isn't it? Have you thumbed through it yet? I was looking at this and I was comparing it to some of my trade paperbacks and single issues, and it was worth the upgrade for the artwork alone. The artwork is, I won't say it's been retouched, but it's been retouched a little bit. In their digitization process, the colors seem a little bit more vibrant. So I don't know if that's more or less like the original, but it's very consistent. It's very similar. It's not a huge difference at all. But I think it's really the paper that helps the colors stand out versus the yellowing newsprint that I had. But anyway, that's enough about the Milestone Compendium. I'm just a nerd, so I'll talk about it for hours. C Rook's here. What's up, dude? Call me Top Gun is also here, fresh from the bank. My man Kevin's here. What's up, dude? It's good to see you in the chat again. JC's ready to get his Milestone Compendium. It's worth it. I just can't wait for the announcement of Volume 2. Like I said, I think it's going to take like 4 volumes of the compendium to collect everything, and hopefully they do. Hopefully they do. Bandwagon fans here. What's up, dude? Hope you're doing well. Not much is up here. My wife's cooking dinner. She went out to grab some buffalo wing sauce or something, so I just had to clear out a space so that when the food gets here, I can sit it next to me and pretend I'm going to eat it and then stare at it while it gets cold. My man JC's here. He was watching Reggie Collect's video about how he broke up with his LCS. Yeah, Reggie lives about an hour and a half to 2 hours away from me in Charlotte. I have not watched his video about breaking up with his LCS, but hopefully it was for a good reason. And, you know, Ultimate Comics, they do ship. So, yes, the bank heist apparently is now a recurring joke. Thanks, call me Top Gun. So, yeah, we got a packed show tonight, so I don't want to waste too much time with all the grins and giggles. But I do want to briefly touch on a few things. So the first of which, hold on, I got a text sitting here. Okay, cool. It's just my wife telling me that she left the house. All right. So here we are. Dang it. Don't you hate when like you're trying to do something and everything cooperates except the one thing that you're trying to do? Me too. Me too. So we're going to talk about Naomi season 1, episode 4, because I can't stop watching this series, and it's become like a recurring thing on the channel. My Naomi review. So I tell you guys every week, I'm not a huge fan of TV shows. In my opinion, most TV shows are too slow, especially like when they're superhero adaptations, like the CW stuff. It's too slow. The action is lackluster because they don't have the budget to really sell it with the effects. The dialogue can be cringy. Specifically with CW shows, I feel like they rush through the moments that should be really, really good, and they linger on these things that, like, as a comic fan, don't matter or don't help the story. But anyway, I've been not binge watching. I watch Naomi every week, the day after it comes out, and episode 3 was better than episodes 1 and 2. I was like, okay, with episode 3, I feel like they hooked me. We got a little bit more action. The pacing was a little bit better. There were some situations that I still felt like were kind of cringy, but the other stuff made up for it, for lack of better terminology. Episode 4. It's so funny because I barely remember what happens in this show when I try to recap it. But JC, I'm going to be spoiling episode 3 and partially spoiling episode 4. Cover your ears, or you can kind of wait until Naomi's not on the screen anymore. If you're like, you don't want spoilers. If you don't mind spoilers, cool. But that was my spoiler warning. So in episode 3 of Naomi, it ends with her parents finally telling her what they know about her origin, where they found her, what the circumstances were, and so on. And oh, gotcha. My bad, C-Rook. So yeah, so they told Naomi where she came from, right? And or they led her to the site where they found her. And then episode 4 picks up with them kind of giving the origin story. The most hilarious part of it is there's no spaceship, and I have to speculate that the only reason there's no spaceship is because they couldn't afford to create one on the set. So the story is Naomi just literally arrived on Earth, wrapped in a blanket, chilling on the ground. Like, that's it. But with this episode, some of the differences between the TV show and the comic are made much more apparent, right? Zumbato's not quite the same as he was in the comics. There's another character that isn't even in the comics that you get appearances from. And basically, Naomi is being hunted by aliens. Like, people from other planets are hunting Naomi down because she is apparently very powerful, and they're trying to use her for whatever their various schemes are. And that's the crux of the action in this episode. But Naomi is struggling to deal with, secrets being kept from her by her parents, although she seems to get over it relatively quickly, or extremely quickly. For some reason, there's a sequence because Naomi needs like this specific machine to decode this little artifact that might help tell her more about her origin. So the way for them to get to this machine is to just sign up for one of those escape room things. You go to the place and you solve all the mystery or the clues and whatever, and they let you out of the room. So we get like the Scooby Gang, as we're calling them, going through an escape room to find this artifact that Naomi then uses to decode a few of the words that are on this little artifact from her origin. The parents meet up with Dee. They have dinner together, and that's interesting because, Dee is like her Mr. Miyagi type figure. She's training her, or he's training her on how to use her powers. In the comic, the relationship between Dee and Naomi's parents is very different. So I'm curious to see how this moves on or how this progresses. Basically, this show has gotten me hooked because it's so different from the comics. I'm like, I gotta know what happens because I can't predict it. That's funny you mentioned that, C. Rook, because in my opinion, the book has been better than the show so far. I like the way things went in the book, and I was hoping the show kind of followed that same track and just added more to it. I'm still looking forward to the season 2 of the comic series. What's up, wheelchair superhero? Yo, you changed your profile pic. You're no longer Batman. And man, I don't know how I feel about it right now. And Cool Coco with the super chat says, the llama did 3 backflips and then died on the 4th one. Anyway, have a good day. R.I.P. llama. Yo, thanks, Cool Coco. And thanks for entertaining us with the llama story. There's a bunch of Brandons here. A comic book novice, his name's Brandon. Comics Kings, his name's Brandon. BJ Kicks, his name's Brandon. So Bunkmaster B saying what up. And on behalf of all the Brandons, I'm saying what's up. So anyway, Naomi is visited from her, from basically somebody tries to kidnap Naomi. Dee fights them off. That happens. And then there's also a weird sequence with that new character that I was telling you about that I really don't want to spoil. And that might be the most unbelievable part of the show. Like, Naomi tracks this lady down and is just like, hey, tell me more about who I am. And I'm like, how is this lady even here at this moment right now? But anyway, if I had to rate it, if I had to rate this show, this episode, probably a solid. Action was cool. Dialogue still cringy. They will kind of minimize the Scooby Gang. Oh, and Naomi finally picked a love interest, which like raised the value of this episode by like 85% because I was so tired of her like flirting with everyone on the TV show. They did that like right at the end. So hopefully as the show progresses, we'll finally get like a different dynamic with these kids' relationships. So with all that considered, I'll give it a 7. I'll give it a 7. Not bad. I don't know if I liked it as much as episode 3, but still better than 1 and 2. And the story is finally progressing along, so I like it. That was my review of Naomi, episode 4. Let's see. Naomi rejected the weird simp cult. No. Wheelchair Super says they're both his favorite characters, Batman and Superman. And I can rock with that. As I'm reading more Superman, I'm coming to admire him more. I don't know if I'd call him my favorite. I mean, on the DC side, it's probably Batman, Jon Stewart's Green Lantern, The Flash. Superman might come after that. Hey, give me a second because my baby is crying. Oh, dang, Kevin. It's good to see you. I appreciate it, dude. Baby's crying. Wife's not here, so I got to make sure everything's all good. And Toyama Displays, Trey, you didn't miss anything. The Naomi was just the primer. When I get back, we're talking YouTube, baby or not. As a matter of fact, watch this. Oh, wait, she's not crying anymore. All right, cool. I'm going to rock with it. I'm going to let it rock. So, we are here. Wanted to go ahead and get to... Oh, Mary wants to see the baby. I'm trying to avoid disrupting the show too much, but I'm keeping an ear out. She's not crying. And my wife just texted me. She's on the way back. You guys are demanding to see the child. You want to see the child? Dang. I don't have a Baby Yoda toy. That was my move. I was gonna grab a baby Yoda. All right, give me a second, because the baby's crying again. I always do this. I like run and then I'm back on camera and I'm out of breath, like, because I'm so out of shape. It's not even funny. All right. Bunkmaster B says, thanks for shouting out that question story in the Batcat special. You won. What are you mad about, Squeak? So he won a variant on the original book the story's from. What is that original story? That's what I want to know, because I would love to read it. James says, baby time. Mando says, baby's first comic toy. I bought her not a comic toy. I'll show you, though. Oh, that's not it. Never mind. I'm not going to show you because it's in the closet. But I bought her this book. It's a box set of DC superhero board books. Woo! So we read those sometimes. Laura's here. What's up, Married with Comics? Everybody's saying hey to Squeak. She's adorable. She's cute. She took over the show. She's trying to steal the microphone. What? Say hey to the people. DC Crimes of Passion. I think That might have come out last year. There was all this controversy because on that cover, it was like alluding to Nightwing sleeping with Catwoman or something. But anyway, yeah, Baby Kicks is here. Billy's here. What's up, dude? If baby's still crying, I'd make sure she's okay. That makes you a good person. Me too. So, family is even better than comics. I hope you read comics to her, though. There is a clip. Oh snap! That was almost tragic. There is a clip that I have of myself reading Batman to her. This is why she can't be on streams. She's so mesmerized by the microphone. She always wants to grab it. You can't have it, Squeak. No. You can't have it. So, anyway, my wife should be here in a second, and then this will all be better. Here, play with your cup. So, we're here to talk about YouTube. We're talking about my experience with YouTube, what it's like being a comic book content creator, the ups, downs, good, bad, ugly, so on. She's definitely trying to grab the mic in the future. She's our attitude child. So I could certainly see that. You can't, there's nothing in that for you to eat. So, let's see. By the way, did you guys see like all these comics on the floor? I am in the middle of reorganizing. It's on its way. It's on its way. I'm in the middle of reorganizing my collection so that I can do my new room tour. So that means all these. Hello. That means all of these like stacks of books that I've got in all sorts of different places, they got to actually get organized and put into their short boxes. Nerdette, what is up? What is up? Let's see. Tristan, do you mind being called Nerdette? Because your channel's Nerdette's Newsstand, but I mean, obviously you're Tristan, and you say you're Tristan in every video. So I just wonder. JC says, are you still always this chill in real life? Do you have a temper? Frustrated? The short answer is, I don't know if I say I have a temper. I certainly do feel every emotion, right? Like I do get angry. I do get frustrated. It happens, but yeah, it's not often enough. I try not to let things get me rattled or get me out of my element. But I mean, I have triggers. Everybody has triggers. My kids are my triggers. My wife is my trigger. And generally feeling disrespected is a trigger. So yeah. Was that a dad you heard? Yes. She's not saying it like, consciously. She's not saying it because she knows what it means. It's just, practicing talking. She's practicing different syllables and whatnot. And that's the thing. What's wrong?
Mommy's here, so we can take a squeak.
Okay, cool. Appreciate it. She's gonna want these puffs because they're out.
Oh, okay.
Just take some and put it in your hand. See you later, Squeak. So yeah, no, I am not a robot. I guess I get that perception because I don't, but anyway, yeah, I'm a human. I'm human too, like that song says. Baby Chatter's so cute. Wish my kids were that young again. Let's see. Not da da da. Thank you for your comment. Yeah, I'm trying to cherish it because my oldest is 11 years old now. She'll be 12 soon. And it's just there are things that I miss about when she was younger. So I'm trying to cherish every moment I can with Squeak. Plus, we kind of got robbed. Those first 3 months, she was in a hospital. So it was like we didn't get to do all the cutesy stuff. So anyway, what's up, Tom? Hope you're doing well, sir. And C-Rook wants to know if Nerdette would ever change her channel name. Um, but yeah. What's up, Skip? Skip's here. So for the fourth time, I'm going to try to open this topic. So tonight, we're talking about YouTube. I've been fortunate to, grow a few channels on YouTube, this being the second major, pillar of my YouTube, I don't know, empire would be putting way too much of an embellishment on it. But YouTube is something that I enjoy doing, and I have multiple channels talking about different topics. And this is, my passion project, my love child, if you will, this channel. And I've had a pretty unique, I feel, experience growing this channel. And so I wanted to share that experience, my tips, my strategies with other content creators, and also just answer questions. I know that a lot of people in my audience are aspiring YouTubers, and more people in my audience are just people that like comics and wonder what it's like adding YouTube to that hobby. So I want to be as transparent as possible to, share that experience, share the journey. And like I said, hopefully help you out. So what are we talking about tonight? I asked you guys to submit questions. Of course, I'm going to take questions from the chat as well, but I've compiled, it looks like over 10 questions. Some of them have numbers and some of them don't, because some of them I felt like were super relevant to the topic, and some were just more fun questions that didn't need to be given in any particular order. So we'll kind of play it by ear as to which questions I answer. But you're going to learn things like how much time it takes me to do this, what are the best and worst parts, what are the different revenue streams, what's my approach to generating revenue on this channel, how I approach sponsorships. You're going to learn a lot. And I think you're going to walk away from this stream feeling one of three ways, right? The first is, sheesh, I would never do that. I just want to read comics and enjoy them. So I'm just going to be a regular comic book fan. That's one way that you might feel after tonight's stream. The other way, or another way, is, you know what? I need to switch up my strategy, but I think this could work, right? That's another way that you might feel. And then the last way you might walk away from this stream is like, you know what? I'm going to do what he did, but I'm going to do it better, even better. I'm going to do it bigger. To heck with him. I can do this. All three of those sentiments, perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. I wouldn't have it any other way. I feel like when it comes to this aspect of the hobby, there are a lot of misconceptions. There are a lot of preconceived notions that people have. And I think there are things that are romanticized that shouldn't be. And there are also things that are discouraged that shouldn't be. So my hope is that you walk away with a very clear picture of what this looks like. And that way you can make a decision as to whether or not you want to participate to this level. So there you go. Kev has already decided which response he is. He says he's number one. I feel you. I feel you. Let's see. Nerdette, Tristan says she would not change her channel name because people will forget who she was. Yeah, you're already over 20K, so it would be difficult for you to change at this point. But sometimes change is good. Like, I've seen other people rebrand. Mary with Comics is here in the chat. They had a different name when they started. And thankfully it was really early on when they decided to change their name, and that worked out for them, I believe. So before we get into all the questions that I have on my list. We got a question here from the chat. And like I said, please submit whatever questions you would like. If you want to skip the line, a super chat will help skip the line, but hopefully we can fit everything in. Nerdette has a question. Tristan has a question. From one content creator to another, how do you avoid the drama? I just don't talk about it. I think in some ways that's to my detriment because a lot of what we see in this hobby are people who are like doing pseudo news commentary. But because so much of what makes the news is just like super divisive, right? It's it could be good for growth on my channel. It would definitely get views, but it just I wouldn't feel right at the end of the day. Like if I talked about comics the way some people talked about comics, I would never read comics. I'd hate them. And then, this would be a whole different outlet, it'd be a whole different thing. So for me, I wanted this channel to be an extension of my love for the hobby, and also to kind of fulfill a role that I didn't see being played very often, and one that I feel like I kind of naturally fit into. Like, I don't want to turn on a camera and have to like change who I am for a video to be successful. Like, I try to operate in whatever lane is just me. Is basically where I'm at. Trey's got a question. He says, he's created his own brand with comics and toys. His Instagram is at 1,300 plus. YouTube's new for him though. He finds it hard to balance comics, reading, photography, and all of those things. Adding YouTube editing to that is a lot. Do I plan my videos ahead of time, and how do I stay on task? I do plan my videos ahead of time at the beginning of every month. I have a whiteboard calendar. I should have taken a picture of it or something. I didn't. I should have prepared better. My bad. I got a baby here, man. But at the beginning of every month, my calendar is blank, and I try to, within the first week of the month, fill in every day on my calendar. And every day on my calendar is a new video that I want to do. Some videos I'm not actually prepared to do. In fact, most videos I'm not prepared to do, but I'll write down a few books that I want to review. I'll write down, like, if I know I ordered something, hey, this package should be in the mail by this day, so I'll put the unboxing video out that day. And of course, I've got a few series that I do, so those videos don't really change. I do what I'm getting every Sunday. I do the hangout every Thursday. Wednesday's my day off. I don't usually upload videos on Wednesday unless it's a special occasion. And so I start there. I start with the things that I know I'm going to do, and then I try to fill in the rest of the gaps throughout the month. But that actually, we'll talk a little bit more about how I do that, because you asked another question about like time commitment, or somebody asked a question about time commitment. So we'll get there. And how do I stay on task? Sometimes it's just not possible, right? I got a full-time job. I have my side hustle, which is what pays for this hobby and this channel. And then this is basically a third job that I have. So between all of that and the fact that we have a newborn in the house, there are some days where I'm just not going to get it all done. And those are the days where, you might be expecting a video and you don't see one. But the short answer to how I get it all done is I don't do anything else. Like, I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't go to the movies. I still haven't seen No Way Home. If I'm not with my family, actively being a dad, a son-in-law, whatever, I'm probably sitting in front of a camera or in front of my computer. And that's just how my life is. My man Kev says, focusing on the positive is what makes the channel great. It's a hobby. It should be enjoyed, and that joy passed on to others. I agree. I totally agree. What's up, Blueberry Waterfalls? Isn't that a song? That's Splash Waterfalls. My bad. A ludicrous song. Yes, you're right. It's a deep cut in the Star Wars world, and I only know that because C. Rook told me. And yeah, I like my channel to be a place for people who are respectful of one another. We kind of had a little dust up in the Facebook group earlier this week or last week, and I had to kind of reiterate that because people are so used to arguing online, and I feel like you can be in any other hobby. You can even be in this hobby and find a million people willing to argue with you online. But I'd rather be the one person that's like, yo, you like that? I'm glad you like that. That's dope. Tell me why I should like it, and maybe we'll agree. Maybe I'll read it and I won't get what you got out of it, but I'm glad it's there for you. So let me do this. I'm going to come back to the chat periodically, but we've got a lot of questions and I want to make sure I honor the people who did send them in advance. So someone asked, did you have a fear of talking to the camera and how did you overcome it? The answer to that question is yes and no, because before I started this channel, I had another YouTube channel. I have a channel. It's called KDMR Music. It's a dumb acronym that I came up with in college that I now can't let go because we have almost 30,000 subscribers on YouTube. But other channels, KDMR Music, and I teach music marketing and music business strategy to aspiring independent artists. On that channel, we've got over 200 videos. About 175 of which were done before I ever made a video on this channel. So by the time I started this channel, all the jitters were out. I can pretty much look at a camera and it's the same as looking into somebody's eyes, So, but at the beginning, I certainly had, I wouldn't call it a fear, but I was definitely nervous. I would stumble over my words. I'm not as good of an impromptu speaker as I am with prepared remarks and stuff. And if you will look at the first, I don't know, 10, 20 videos on that channel, you'll see where all my jitters came out. And after a while, I got more comfortable. I prepared a little bit better. I wrote better notes or better outlines and kind of decided what worked for me. So that's how I overcame it. Repetition is the answer. That's how I overcame it. Let's see. C Rook is still on the positivity tip. Where'd I go? He deleted his old Discord because he got sick of the arguments. So now he's got a new account and he just talks about cool things. I feel you. No, I did not see the new Scream movie. I didn't see it. I do want to. I want to see Spider-Man. I'm probably just gonna wait till the video on demand hits at the end of this month and just buy it on Amazon or something. Yeah, impromptu gets me in trouble too. As you can see, I have shiny object syndrome. Somebody comments, somebody says something, my kid starts crying, I'm all off track. All off track. And does my voice ever cringe me out? Yes and no. Because I've noticed that I have several different voices. This voice is slightly different from my regular speaking voice. Normally when I'm talking, if I'm talking to my wife, I pretty much talk like this. But I got to get out way more words when I'm talking on YouTube. And so it's a bit of a different register, more breath, and it's like racing out. So yeah. If I was doing sometimes you'll see me, with the new series that I'm working on called Who's Who, you're going to get me doing more full voiceover stuff. And that's because I'm going to be reading those videos off a script. So if it's who is Static? Virgil Hawkins is a 14-year-old from Dakota City. So that'll be fun. But no, the short answer is I don't like my voice, but it's all good. My voice doesn't matter to me. It matters to you guys. Favorite DC Omni is Batman by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. I would love to get into voiceover work, so I'm gonna hit up my man Bunkmaster B later. So the first big question that I saw, and I was like, yeah, I definitely got to talk about that, was how much time do you put into your platform? My man Danny from Fourth Wall Comics asked that, and that's a loaded question because I'm always spending time on this platform. I turned this hobby into a pseudo business. And so even when I'm not like doing business things, uploading a video, editing a video, talking to a sponsor, or reaching out for interviews or whatever, I'm probably reading a comic book. I'm probably like watching another comic book YouTuber. So it's hard to differentiate. It's hard to separate the time that I spend working on this. I can tell you this, I put up 5 to 6 videos a week. And between writing out the concept, filming the video, editing the video, publishing the video, working on the thumbnail, doing all the tags and analytics and social media stuff, it takes me about an hour to an hour and a half per video that you see. And yeah, so at minimum, we're talking 8 to 10 hours a week. If we're being honest, it's probably more like 20 because I generally will spend all day Saturday or all day Sunday shooting videos. And then I spend a little bit of time every day editing and publishing videos. I should do more of it in advance, but life is just busy. Life is busy. Let's see. Thanks, Nerdette. I appreciate it. I have to remember to call you Tristan when I'm like looking at your name on the comments. How do you know best what camera to use? So the best camera is the best camera that you can afford, right? When I started this channel, I started it on my phone, even though I had a DSLR camera that I was using for my other channel. I thought the phone might make it a little bit easier for me to create content. Over time, I found that there were more bottlenecks using my phone. It took longer to transfer the footage into my computer. It took longer, like with the cable would get disconnected. Like it would just syncing an iPhone, or at least an iPhone 10 with a PC is just dumb. There's no easy way to do it. I tried using Dropbox. That didn't work out super well. So I kind of stumbled into doing videos on my DSLR because I did an app review. I did a review where I needed my phone to be in the video. So I filmed it with my camera and found that experience was just way easier. So nobody likes taking out a camera, setting up a whole shot, lighting and all that. But it was saving me time in the long run. But phones that come out now are way better than this. Phones that come out now in general have better features than my DSLR camera. Like my Canon T3i, that's what I'm using. It doesn't have autofocus. So I gotta be really still. I gotta hold stuff up right beside my head or else it's gonna be out of focus. So there's a lot that I have to do. But it's better than paying for a new camera. Eventually this year, I'm going to upgrade my camera though. And I'm looking at something mirrorless so that I can use it for live streams as well. You know best what camera to use when you find all the limitations on the camera that you have. That's the official answer. I really want the Monkey Prince gold foil. I don't know where to find it. Somebody let me know. Yes, this is a part-time job if it isn't your full-time job. It's mostly a full-time job on top of your full-time job, if I'm being honest. I appreciate the compliment, K-Dog. I really do. I really do. I really should have gotten some water before I started this stream. I usually have a cup of tea. I was rushing. So yeah, there are award-winning films that were made on phones, but let me get back to the question. So yeah, how much time do I put in the platform? Probably about 20 hours a week. Best and worst parts of the hobby. Best parts, the community. Filming videos on YouTube opens me up to a lot more people that love comics, right? If I didn't have the YouTube channel, I would only know 5 people that buy comics. And all 5 of those people will be people that shop at my LCS, and I might see them one day and I might not. So best part is the community by far. Worst part, I have so much less time to read books. I feel like I'm always running behind on something. So that's the best part and the worst part. Let's see. Yo, I appreciate that. I appreciate you being here, Comic Bound. I know the time difference is insane. Thank you. Are y'all watching this or something? Well, thanks. That's hilarious. So, yeah. So I'm glad that you're you're on the stream, Comic Bound, and hope the replay is valuable for you. Let's see. So yeah, best and worst parts of the hobby. Worst part, I don't have as much time to read comics as I would like. Best part, I get to meet a bunch of comic book fans. Um, yes, my daughter's watching my stream. Um, so, second, we're coming up on like the first big question. my my wife says Leia is not watching. My daughter's not the one watching. My wife is though. So, second big question that I saw in the chat is, how do I get more viewers? And that is such a loaded question. And I actually made a video about 6 months ago, back when we hit 2,000 subscribers on the channel, giving all of my YouTube tips, things that I use to grow both this channel and my main channel, as you would call it. And the short version, people come on YouTube either to be educated or to be entertained. If you're entertaining on YouTube, which is what I consider this channel, this is definitely more entertainment than education, although I'm trying to merge the two a little bit. If you're entertaining on YouTube, the real draw is content, like consistent content, like an insane amount of content. I am going to show you guys my analytics. I'm going to show you, actually, let me go to another screen. So yeah, I'm going to show you guys something, and you're either going to think I'm crazy or you're going to be like, wow, that's dedication. But either way, it's going to be like, yo, what? So this is how many videos are on my channel. I started my channel in November of 2020. So it's been a year and 2 months, really just 2 months. And this is the amount of videos that I have. 290. There are 290 videos on this channel. And that is kind of crazy. That means I've pretty much averaged 5 videos a week for a year. Is it 5? 5 times 50, that'd be 250. So more than 3 videos or 5 videos a week. Anyway, the point is, I created an insane amount of content in order to jumpstart the growth of this channel. And it wasn't all it wasn't all on purpose. It was just, that was the thing. That was the thing. I started out like, okay, I'm going to do 3 videos a week because it was just easy to do 3 videos a week. And then I got approached for a sponsorship, and that sponsor wanted to add a full video every week. And so I was like, well, if I do this, that takes the spot of one of those videos. And then I also started the What I'm Getting series, where I show off my poll or show you what's on my pull list. And that was also one spot. And so with the What I'm Getting and the sponsored video, there was no room, right? That left only one video a week for me to just be creative with, whether it was an unboxing, a comic book review, whatever. And so I was like, all right, well, I'll just do more. And so I went on a streak, and I was like, let's see how long I can go without missing a day uploading. I made it through 1 month. I think we made it like basically until my daughter was born is when we made it where we made it to. And that process, like the frequency of those uploads, is what propelled my channel's growth. And then putting up that many videos in that short of amount of time, it kind of builds up skill. And so it becomes easier to do. It becomes a little bit easier to do. And so, but yeah, that was the main driver is viewers. If you're entertaining people on YouTube, put up a lot of content, a whole lot of shots, a whole lot of reps. And there's a lot of comments right now. So let's see. Okay, cool. Thanks, Gabriel, for watching and subscribing. I appreciate it. We're gonna talk about sponsorships and what? I guess Google thought I was talking to her. We're gonna talk about sponsorships. As Jalen Brown says, faith, consistency, and hard work pay off. Yeah, it was an insane amount of work. So that's the first part. If you're educating on YouTube, that's the other thing. Education on YouTube allows you to not put as many shots up, right? Because you're creating content that people are going to be searching for. So that's why channels that do like who is Batman or what are the best Daredevil stories, things that people are going to be asking all the time, those are the channels with like literally millions of subscribers. Comic Storian, Comics Explained. I think those are the two. And then Comic Pop is like, or maybe Jim Min at this point is like a very distant third with like 150,000 subscribers. But that's the other way to get more viewers, is to talk about things that people are going to be searching for. I do that to a much lesser extent with the What I'm Getting video, right? Every week, I'm talking about all the books coming out, or at least all the books that I'm buying. But the title, it has like, what I think are probably going to be the hottest ones, the ones people are going to be searching for. So if somebody searches for Hulk #5 in a month and they see my What I'm Getting video and I'm explaining why I'm buying Hulk #5, then maybe they'll subscribe to the channel. But so, yeah, YouTube is a search engine, and catering to that search engine will help you get views without posting as many videos. But from what I find in the comic book hobby, it's more so about that consistency. If you want to do one thing that's going to get you more viewers, it's post a whole lot of videos. That's my advice. Let's see. Comic Bound says, I have exactly 29 videos on my channel. I started a few months before you, and you have literally 10 times the amount of videos. That's incredible effort, bro. I mean, I appreciate it. All I can say is I was highly motivated to make this channel successful. If this channel wasn't successful, I would have to give up the comic book hobby. And to a certain degree, I'm still upside down on this channel. But I've been able to kind of prove viability and keep buying comics. That was the goal. I wanted to be able to afford comic books, and I can afford comic books. Most people that do this, they do it because it's a fun hobby. They might meet people, it might be fun or whatever. Because my goals were so lofty, I knew I had to put in a ridiculous amount of work to make them happen. Gabriel is a teen with autism and a huge comic fan. We could probably get along, I'm sure. Yeah, because I'm sure you know a lot of things that I don't know. I would love to know who your favorite characters are, Gabriel. Join the K Squad on Discord or on Facebook so we can talk more. Because, yeah. So, yeah, I did a video, again, giving out my tips for growth on YouTube. I talked about different tools that I use for SEO. And I really go in depth with explaining kind of how the algorithm works. So I should have, let me do this. I'm going to find that link and I'm going to put it in the chat. I won't put it in the chat because in the chat, it messes with people. I remember that now. So I'm going to copy this link and put it in the comments of this video. Or can I not do that? I'm going to find out. It's not going to let me put anything in the comments until the video is over. I want to put it in the chat right here and see if YouTube lets it stay. But yeah, I encourage you guys to watch that video when you're done with this one. That'll give you a little bit more information. But we got to breeze through these a little bit more. So how do people use comic panels without getting copyright strikes? I thought that was just an interesting question. Copyright strikes are wholly dependent on the owner of the content that you're covering. So if DC Comics is cool with it, if Marvel Comics is cool with it, you're probably okay. In many cases, if you use copyrighted content, what YouTube will do is instead of taking your video down, they will just give the revenue from that video to whoever the original content or copyright owner is. And in that situation, you don't get a strike. But if a company believes that like you are maliciously using their content, they will give you a strike. And the only people that can get that strike removed are whoever owns that actual copyright to the material that you're using. So how do people use comic panels without getting copyright strikes? The answer is very carefully. And Gabriel, my bad. I am going to, I'll put some information in here soon about the K Squad. When this video is over, or you can look in the description of any of my videos, and the K Squad are the first 2 links that you'll see. So yeah, when this is over, check it out there. So going along with the question of how do I get more viewers, there was a question of should I add more topics in order to get more views? And that's kind of a tricky question. But what we're starting to find at like I'm not at this level. What people are finding at the higher levels of YouTube is that YouTube really rewards channels. And all right, the way the algorithm works, right? A lot of your future success is determined by your past success. If you had a video that did really well, YouTube is going to show your next video to a whole lot of people because they expect that, hey, this video did well from that guy, so this one should too. But the problem is if your content is too different from each other, what worked really well on one video may not work on another, right? Or if you're not doing that on another video, that video probably won't do well. Like, so for example, this channel, I do a lot of unboxings, right? And I try to leave my unboxing for like one video at the beginning of the month, or the haul video anyway. But if I do a haul video that gets like 1,000 views in a day, right? And then the very next video I do is a single issue review or a back issue review, like something that people aren't talking about. It's not related to the new Batman movie or Spider-Man No Way Home or some news story that people are interested in clicking in. What's going to happen is a bunch of people are going to click on the haul video, but no one is going to click on the comic book review that I do. And then the next video, no one's going to see because YouTube's not going to show it to anyone. So you can add topics to get views, but you got to make sure they're closely related enough that the person that likes one video on your channel will also like the other video on your channel in order to get the best results from the YouTube algorithm. Let's see. Comic Book Jackpot says, I had a video with 3,500 views in 6 months. YouTube was playing ads on it, so I deleted it because I felt like I was being taken advantage of. You're not being taken. I mean, it's YouTube's platform, if we're being completely honest. Like, they have the right to monetize anything, but there are certain like rules that you have to, or certain benchmarks you have to hit in order for YouTube to share that ad revenue with you. And we're going to talk about like value and where value is placed and how YouTube looks at you as a creator versus how a brand may look at you as a creator versus how your audience may look at you. I'm trying to cover all that. This might go longer than 9 p.m. So sorry, babe. My wife is watching. This might end up being like a long stream. Somebody wants to know how sponsorships work, and I promise we're getting to it. I promise we are. Any advice for people who don't want to use their face or voice in their videos? I'm uncomfortable being on camera and speaking. Been getting creative with editing to keep people engaged. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. If you don't want to be on camera or speak, then I'd question whether or not YouTube is the platform for you. I would never discourage anyone from being on YouTube. I'm just saying that's a very high barrier to set for yourself. Those are two very hard things to overcome. But the simplest way around it would be to hire somebody. Hire somebody to do your voiceovers or to be the on-camera personality for what you're doing. Because I'm assuming that you're running a business page for these architectural foam panels. So get one of your employees to do it. That's what my man JP does from Organic Price Books. He appears in videos, but he also has an employee that appears in videos as well. So JC wants to know, if I didn't have this comic book YouTube channel, would I not be in the comic book hobby? I'd still be in the hobby. It just wouldn't be, there'd be something missing now that I know, what it's like to kind of share things with community. But I'd still be in the comic books. I was in the comic books before I had a channel. I started a channel because I was in the comic books, not the other way around. I think those things go hand in hand. But yeah. Afro Sci-Fi says, do you feel some older comic book fans are condescending to you and your content? I don't really have that issue. A lot of people who feel like my content is, beneath them, they just don't watch. Every now and then I'll get somebody that wants to be a smart aleck in the comments, but it's very few and far between. So I don't feel like I've got that as an issue. Does the video creation process ever put a strain on your love of the hobby? No, but I think that's more of a question of outlook. Like, I see videos as a way to get more out of my hobby, right? Like, I know that if I make more videos and get more views and get more subscribers, I have the potential to make more revenue and perhaps even get more sponsorships. And, out of that, I get to buy more comics and read more comics. I have a goal, of kind of far off vision where all I have to do every morning is wake up and talk about comics. And I can pay my bills doing that. So that's the goal, and kind of focusing on that goal keeps me grounded, centered, keeps me encouraged. Maybe that's the better way to put that. I don't have the answer to this question right now, but I will. I got a room tour, a collection tour, an updated collection tour coming up, and I will count my books for that video. So adding more topics to get more views, you can. I'd say be careful. Someone asked about gear recommendations, and we talked about this already. I recommend starting with your phone and just using that until you find limitations. By the time you figure out what your limitations are, any camera that I named today is going to be out of date, and you're going to search for a camera with the feature that you need, whether it's autofocus, whether it's, better depth of field, whether it's recording time, whether it's portability. There's a whole list of reasons why you would buy one camera over another. So there's no blanket statement that I can give. And let's see. Lucas has a great question. Should I focus on quantity or quality when it comes to comic book content? The answer for YouTube is honestly going to be quantity. Now, there's something to be said about quality, right? Like the answer to this is really consistent quality content, right? if you're only going to post a video once a week, it better be a really good video, because that's got to sustain people for 7 whole days before you put something else up. Right. And so you see that a lot. There are a lot of comic book channels that do like these huge character deep dives and all these different things. And that video will do really well. And then they'll do another one like a month later, and that'll do really well too. So you're just showcasing comics that you enjoy. Yeah, I don't know that there's really a way to showcase comics without using your voice. The face you can certainly do. I've seen plenty of videos where it's just they got the camera focused on like a comic book stand and they're doing overviews or whatever. I mean, even like you watch like a channel like Cartoonist Kayfabe, they're not on camera for most of the episode. It's just the book that's on camera. And and so the book is what's on display. So that's all well and good. But also, I think the voice, that's the thing you got to work through. Because all the ways to disguise your voice are going to make it really weird to watch you on video, right? Like the voice disguising apps are going to make you sound like a robot. That's odd, right? So I would say just keep putting up practice shots and eventually you'll be fine. Like you won't mind hearing your voice on video. We've already established like my voice on camera is different from my voice in person, especially when I don't drink my water. So, yeah. Gabriel, my favorite omnibus is Batman by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. Married with Comics says, how do you market your videos to keep growing? So marketing and promotion, I think those are two different terms, right? Marketing kind of involves the full process, right? And I say this as a marketing consultant. Marketing is the process of getting an idea from your head to a customer's pocket or house or car or wherever the product is supposed to end up, right? So marketing starts long before you've got a video, right? Marketing involves which video is the best video to make. Why is this video the best video to make? Who is this video for? Where should this video go in order to reach the people that it's for, right? That's, in a nutshell, the marketing process. Product, place, pricing, and promotion, right? So the short answer to how do I market my videos to keep growing, I try to make videos that I know people want to watch, have a tendency to click on, as well as will search for later on, right? And so if you look at my channel, there's a few different types of videos that I do. Unboxing videos, haul videos, comic book shopping trips. Every now and then I'll do like a sort of educational video with Comics 101 where I'm teaching about a certain aspect of the hobby. The videos that perform well for me the most consistently are videos. Let me mute this tab. Are videos that people were clearly looking for that I made, right? And they do well over time. It's not like they always do well out of the gate. So I'm going to sort my videos by views, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So let's put this, let's not solo me. There we go. So this is my full library of videos sorted by the amount of views that they've gotten since I started my channel. The most popular video on my channel is my collection tour. There's a couple of reasons for that, right? If I go into the analytics, the people that this video reaches are straight up through YouTube search. Half of the 12,000 views that this channel has, or this video has, came from people searching on YouTube And what are they searching for? Comic book collection, graphic novel collection, comics collection, right? So because people are looking for a comic book collection, they find mine because I put this video up and I made sure the search terms were in it. And if you look at all of my top performing content, it's the same way, right? The second biggest video on my channel is this Ollie's video. And how do people find it? If I go to the reach, browse features. Now, browse features means that YouTube recommended it. YouTube put you on their homepage, right? Browse features and YouTube search are the top two traffic sources. Like if you can get on one or both of those, that's how you're going to keep growing, right? If you look at my traffic sources, external traffic, links from like people searching on Google or posting on Facebook or anywhere else, 0.8% of my total traffic on this video came from external links. So to make the answer shorter, how I market my videos is I try to make videos that I know are engaging, and I try to make videos that I know are going to perform well when it comes to the search, because they're going to find my video because they searched for something. They're going to subscribe to my channel because they liked me, because they liked what I talked about. They liked my personality. They liked the quality of what they saw when they saw me. And that's why people are going to stay. But how are they going to find me? Most likely through a search engine. Google is the biggest search engine in the world. YouTube is the number 2 search engine in the world, and they're owned by Google, the number 1 search engine in the world. So where to buy comic books? 60% of my traffic on this video in the last 2 days came from people searching. What were they searching? Where to buy comics. And so it's stuff like this. 1%, 1.7%, so 2% of the traffic on this video came from people searching on Google or somebody posting on Facebook and so on. But the overwhelming majority of the people that saw this video saw it because they searched for it on YouTube. So if there's one piece of advice I can give you, is to make searchable content. So yeah. And I'm going to take the screen off for a second. So kayfabe approach. Yeah, as far as how much editing is going to be involved, as far as editing, how much editing is going to be involved, it's just about putting up practice shots, basically. My videos, like over time, I've literally made over 500 videos if we include live streams. Over 500 videos I have on YouTube between my 2 channels. I've got 3, but there's only like 4 videos on the other channel. But anyway, so over all that time, I've kind of learned to talk to the camera. If I don't know what I'm saying, pause. If I mess up, pause. And then I just edit that moment out and keep it moving. But over time, you get more and more familiar. You go way longer without mistakes. And if you're not appearing on camera, you can probably have a script or an outline off to the side, and that'll minimize the mistakes as well. And yeah, Comic Book Report does kill it and does rarely show his face. He's one of my faves. I actually spotlighted him and quite a few other people in my top 20 YouTube channels or something like that. I can't remember what I called it. Peace out, C. Rook. Looks like you've been gone for 5 minutes, but peace out. And let's see. God Loves Comics says their videos are personality driven, where you're the opposite. Yeah, so to a certain extent, all videos on YouTube are personality driven. But my man Ben says he's been known to be a smart aleck in the comments. It's true. It's true, he has. All right, so where are we at? Question number 4 out of 7. How transparent are the YouTube analytics? Do the YouTube analytics really help you, you know, determine what you're going to do on your channel? I'd say pretty transparent. YouTube tells me a whole lot about what's doing well. It's not so much that the analytics are just so amazing. It's just about understanding how to read them, right? My top videos in the last 28 days, omnibus hauls, where to buy comics, omnibus overviews, unboxing, deluxe edition overview. Over time, the more videos I put up, the more I realize what's working and what's not. There are playlists and series that I've started on this channel that I had to let go of because they weren't performing as well. So the analytics are going to be good as long as you give it or give them enough data to work with, right? So you can look at your engagement and you can see which videos have the most watch time, like which videos people actually watched for the longest. You can see which community posts people actually looked at the most. You can see which playlists perform well, and that's why I organize my videos into playlists. That way, people can pick and choose which playlist they want to watch, and then I can see, oh, this playlist is performing well, this playlist isn't, and so on. So YouTube analytics are pretty transparent, and because my background is in marketing, I pretty much use analytics as the basis for almost all the decisions I make when it comes to content creation. So let's see. Any thoughts on people who post content across multiple channels? Do you mean like the people that have like a streaming channel, a gaming channel, a comic channel, and so on? I got 2 channels. They're very different from each other. And it's difficult enough for me to do that. I can't imagine how easy it is for people to post on multiple channels and try to grow multiple channels at the same time. It's kind of difficult. Let's see. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did you help make some of OPB's products, shirts, book stands, etc.? I designed a shirt, the one that says I'm down with OPB. I designed that. And I believe there's a hat made of that design as well. So yeah, I designed that. I did not design the book stands. I did not design the Organic Price Books logo. That was already in place when I, met JP and started working with them. So that's the answer to that. And all right. So we are now getting to, are probably the biggest questions. We're probably getting to the biggest questions. Before we do that, my man Danny says, the analytics play in part into you choosing comics, or did you decide comics and then look at the analytics behind it? I'm going to be very honest with you. Very, very honest with you. If I had looked at the analytics before I chose comics, I probably wouldn't have chose comics. This is absolutely a labor of love. The numbers on this channel compared to the numbers on my other channel, not even close. I do this because I love to do it. If I was doing it for any other reason, I would have stopped doing it by now. Because we're going to get into numbers and stuff, but financially, this ain't the ticket. Comic books are a very, very small niche. Advertisers are not trying to put their ads on comic book videos, so you make less money per view than you would on another channel. There are a lot of reasons why, if you're trying to make YouTube your job, you wouldn't choose comics. But I love comics, and so part of the challenge for me is, how can I make comics work? At the end of this experiment, I might find that comics really didn't work. But right now, I'm having a whole lot of fun. Making videos about comic books. I'm building relationships with people that, I'm going to be friends with, whether I have a channel or not. And so it's fun. Yeah. Based on the numbers, I mean, literally no one is in the comic book industry, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's as an artist, a writer, no one is in the comic book industry for the money because there's not a whole lot of it to be had. So that is a perfect segue into the fifth question. What revenue streams are associated with your channel? I think we can look at revenue in two different categories. We can look at it as really three. There are three places you're going to get money from as a YouTube creator. And this is no matter what your field is, right? You're going to get money from YouTube, from the Google AdSense part, or the YouTube Partner Program, which is YouTube plays ads on your videos. They pay you 55% of what those ads bring in. They keep the other 45%. And that's based on a multiplier called the CPM, the cost per 1,000 views. The M stands for meal, which is Latin for 1,000. Greek, Latin, definitely Latin. But anyway, so the revenue stream. So there's YouTube ad money. There's the money that you may get from your audience, right? Super chats, channel memberships, donations, super stickers, things like that. So that's one revenue stream. And then the last revenue stream would be money that you potentially get from brands and sponsors, right? I've been, fortunate to have all three to varying degrees. When I add up all of it, it makes it more worth it, right? For the most part, I make very close to what I spend if we don't count omnis, right? The other thing is on YouTube, I've structured this channel to fit inside my business. So if I make a lot of money in other aspects of my business as a consultant and as a YouTuber on the marketing side, I can pour that money into my comic book hobby because my comic book hobby isn't really a hobby. It's really a comic book business at this point. I make videos about comics and brands pay me to mention them in those videos. So that's the way the revenue is structured. I wish I could tell you it made me rich. It is not. It is not. Right now, I am funneling profits from one area of my business into an area that I see growth potential in. Ultimately, my goal for this channel isn't for it to become like crazy profitable. My goal for this channel isn't for it to become super profitable. My goal is that if I go to a comic shop, if I go to organicpricebooks.com, if I go to a convention, whatever I buy is covered by the revenue from this channel. As far as my living expenses and stuff like that, I am totally fine with that coming from another aspect of my business. But, if this channel continues to grow, if I become as big as some of the channels I look up to, like Near Mint Condition or other channels, then maybe this channel does pay for more of my life, right? If I have a sponsorship with, let's say, Marvel Comics, and they send me all the omnis for free, right? Well, then I'm not spending $300 to $400 a month on books. Then I'm not spending $300 to $400 at all. And so that's money that I get to keep that came in from the channel. And so maybe it does eventually pay for my life, but that's not the goal at the moment. So yeah. Somebody said, looks at Substack. Yeah, there are other ways to monetize a channel, right? So for example, channel memberships, right? That's iffy because the question is what value can you provide in exchange for whatever money your audience is giving you? As far as I'm concerned, I don't want to rely on my audience for my revenue, right? Because things happen. We're living in a pandemic. People lose jobs, whatever, right? I can't expect that somebody's going to send me a $50 super chat every week, right? If they do, that's great. But I cannot reasonably expect that. And so I don't. So that's the problem with stuff like Substack, Patreon, the YouTube channel membership program, all those things, is it's fickle. And if it comes down to it and you got to choose between watching one of my videos or one of my exclusive videos and a sandwich, you're going to choose the sandwich because you're hungry, dog. Like, I can't feed you. So that's how that goes. I'll answer this real quick. Ever thought about making your own comic? If yes, what would be your ideal comic book? No, because I can't draw that well, and I don't fancy myself that good of a creative writer. If I did make a comic book, though, I'd probably make it about my high school years when I was super hooked on sneakers, and I would call it Kicks. And that's all I'll give you because somebody is going to take my idea and run with it. Danny, that's my pitch. Eventually, we're going to find a way to make that happen. But I got to get better at both drawing and writing. Or Danny's going to hire an artist or something for me. Get the hobby to pay for itself. Right on. Yep, that's where I'm at. A penny saved is a penny earned. Yes. If I don't spend $400, that's just like somebody handing me $400. What if you make an exclusive video about sandwiches? Then I can get both with my money. That's hilarious. So those are the revenue streams associated with my channel. Full transparency, I have a sponsorship with my LCS, Ultimate Comics. Thanks, babe. And thanks for this. Oh, there's fries. I have a sponsorship with my LCS, Ultimate Comics. So they pay me to talk about them. And so that's why you see them twice a week on the channel. And more if you're in the K Squad. I have a relationship with Organic Price Books. So if you purchase using the links or my discount code, there's a percentage of that purchase that does come back to me in the form of an affiliate payment. And then there are other revenue streams. There's other forms of affiliate marketing. So chances are if you see an Amazon link in my description or the bio of my videos or whatever, I might get, a super small percentage of that. And they just kind of all stack on each other, right? And when I say stack, I don't mean they're tall. I just mean you gotta throw a little bit or a lot at many different places in order to make up, revenue. So that is that part of it. Yo, that's funny. My man says, I put BJ Kicks in anytime I'm shopping online, just in case. If you do put BJ Kicks in at Organic Price Books, you save $2. If you put BJ Kicks in at BCW Supplies, you save 10%. You put BJ Kicks in, there's at least one other place, but I can't think of it right now. But yeah, do you think Comics Are Dope would ever be its own YouTube channel, or will it strictly be a blog? I have strongly considered changing this channel to Comics Are Dope instead of BJ Kicks. But I think it's kind of too far along at this point. But no, I'm not going to start a second comic book YouTube channel. That would be burning the candle at all ends. It would just be stretching myself too thin. So for now, Comics Are Dope is just going to be a blog, and it's going to be the official home for BJ Kicks and fans of him. Me. Let's see. Is filing taxes for all of this just an awful time? Absolutely. It's the worst. It is the absolute worst. Being a 1099 is insane. You know how many forms and documents I have to wait for from so many different sources? Like basically every client I have pays me on a 1099 basis, and I got to compile all that. And not to mention trying to categorize expenses, like personal expenses versus business expenses. Try categorizing personal expenses versus business expenses when your business is comic books, but you enjoy them personally. It's insane. Tax season is crazy. And if I dwell on this topic too much, the IRS is going to come beat on my door. So we're going to move on. Thanks for using the discount, and I'm glad you got it. I'm so excited that you're getting the Milestone Compendium. I could be Comics Are Dope with BJ Kicks. Probably not, because if I changed the channel to Comics Are Dope, I would be doing it because I didn't want to appear on camera as much anymore. Talking about sponsors with Omnis and big TVs in the background. I bought this TV from a pawn shop 6 years ago for $250. This used to be our living room TV. We upgraded it, and now it's my office TV. That keyboard behind me, I literally only spend money on comic books. I haven't bought a new shirt in ages, unless I got it from Zavi, and I got it for free if I got it from Zavi. Without going too far down this rabbit hole, have you set up separate LLC entities so that your businesses are the ones getting paid with the 1099 and then paying yourself as an employee? Yes. My business gets paid. I'm a single member LLC, so I don't have to pay myself as an employee. I just take owner's draws. I get taxed on the profit, basically. But the way I've structured it, all of my brands are just DBA names under my one business entity. We are now all the way in the weeds, but that was the answer. I need to hit Tyler up. Tyler and I are cool, so I'll hit him up. He probably does know all the loopholes. And I definitely have to do my taxes like in a week, so yeah. Best Silver Age Omnis. I don't read Silver Age books. I've read a little bit of Silver Age Spider-Man, so I'm going to say Silver Age Spider-Man. Funny enough, I do have an EIN as well, just because. Because you need them for other business venture. Anyway, I've run some form of my own business since I was 14 years old, so a lot of things that I've set up over the years I probably wouldn't set up if I was starting from scratch today, but I'm not starting from scratch today. So we've talked about what the revenue streams are. The other big question I got was, what is your approach to sponsorships? And to answer this question, I'm going to take a bite of a French fry first, because that was amazing. My wife made it. So sponsorships. It's all going to come down to this question of value. What value can you provide versus the value that you get in return, right? So, and like I said, we're going to talk about how your audience sees you, how brands see you, how YouTube sees you, right? YouTube, as a content creator, sees me as someone who's providing content that people watch, right? And they see me as someone who's providing places for them to place ads and make money, right? That's the value that YouTube has on me as a creator. Now, there are literally millions of creators on YouTube, and there are thousands joining YouTube every day. So does YouTube value me more than they value any other creator with 4,000 subscribers? Absolutely not. Do they value, Logan Paul or PewDiePie or whoever who have millions of subscribers more than they value me? Absolutely they do. So that's the value exchange, right? In that equation, I need YouTube way more than YouTube needs me. Cool. To my audience, I provide an entertainment value and perhaps a sentimental value, right? People watch my content because they are entertained by it, right? Poor baby, she's sleepy. That's a sleepy cry. But people watch me, sometimes they watch me because they want to live vicariously, right? They don't want to buy the X-Men Omnibus, but they want to see the X-Men Omnibus. So if I do an overview, they're going to watch it. They watch my stream because they like my personality. Some people watch me because they like my voice. Some people watch me because they like my afro. Sorry, they don't watch me anymore. So there are plenty of reasons why someone will watch me, and all of that is associated with a form of value that I provide to them. So that's the audience. Cool. And then lastly, to a brand, the value that I provide is mostly in the audience that I have, right? If my if let's take any of my existing sponsors out of it. If there's a company that sells comic book related supplies, whether it's slabs or I know Laura did something with Gator Guards one time, anything like that, right? It would take them a lot of time to go out and reach 4,000 people, or they might have to pay like Facebook, and they may not know, how to do targeting and stuff like that on Facebook ads, right? It's much easier for them to give me, whether it's a free product or, a certain amount of money in exchange for me putting their product or their brand in front of my audience. I have 4,000 subscribers. On any given day or any given month, there are around 11 to 13,000 people that watch at least one video one time on this channel. So a brand is going to pay me according to what they think they're going to get out of it, right? So if you got a sponsorship, the company is not going to sponsor you. Like, for example, there are a lot of people who want to do this because they want to get free things, right? Like, how do I get a sponsorship with OPB? Like, can OPB send me a book in exchange for a review or blah, 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 right? Well, OPB is not going to send me a book because they think I can sell one book, because that's just, that makes their money back. And, what did they gain from that? OPB will send me a book because they think I can sell 100 books, right? So then the $100 retail price or the $50 wholesale price was worth it to lose, because they made $500 out of that purchase, right? Or out of me making that video. And that's just like a super simplified example with not real numbers. But so the short answer to my question is, how do I approach sponsorships? I look for places where I can create value, right? There have been situations where I had a sponsor, someone reached out, we had an agreement, we had an arrangement, and it just didn't work out, right? Whether the products just weren't popular with my subscribers or my fans, or whether it just didn't make sense for them on the level that they were doing it, right? Like, that's happened before. So what I'm looking for when it comes to a sponsor or potentially approaching someone about becoming a sponsor for my channel is, can I create value for you? Have I created value for you? Can I demonstrate the value that I create? Can I prove that people shop at your company because I mentioned it? How much did they shop at that company that I mentioned? And how much money could that potentially make them? And those are all things that you take, to a negotiation table. We got a lot of questions. Let's see. What's up, Jerry? Jerry found me doing a search on where to buy comics. I like your personality. That's why I subscribe. Kept the good work. Thank you so much, Jerry. I appreciate it. Thank you. And I have more Comics 101 videos coming soon. Let's see. Have I read any comics from AWA Upshot? He read Telepaths and the Resistance. I read Grendel, Kentucky, and most of Erratic. Fourth Wall is about to hire me as a marketing consultant. Hey, man, this is what I do. Jerry bought a few Marvel t-shirts on Zavi after I mentioned the website in the video. That is what's up. I appreciate it. Zavi doesn't pay me, but they do give me account credits that I use to buy more books and stuff that I show you guys. I actually have a Marvel t-shirt and Marvel hat waiting to be unboxed in another room. John Della Rose, I have the same subs and never been approached for a sponsorship. Content type changes, or content type affects that as well. So is your advice for meeting the YouTube requirements for monetization to just throw thought out content at that number? Basically, what I recommend is maybe trying a 30-day channel. Maybe try a 30-day channel, or a 30-day challenge, where you post a video every single day. And if you are really, really watching, you'll notice like some things hit, some things don't hit. Some things work well, some things don't work well. And then it's on you to look at what worked well, decide if that's still congruent with who you are. Like, am I cool if all I ever get to do is this one thing? And if the answer is yes, do that thing until it doesn't work anymore. And that's how you grow, right? That is how I ended up doing so many haul videos or unboxings. I just kind of did it because I wanted to do it at first. And then I realized, oh, wait, that gets a lot of views. The same thing with the Ollie's haul videos. Where if I go shopping to Ollie's once every 2 or 3 months, I don't do it as often because they don't always have good things in stock. I just went to Ollie's last week. Not last week. It was earlier this week I went to Ollie's, Monday. And there was nothing there, so you didn't get an Ollie's video. But yeah. So my advice would be to create as much content as you reasonably can in order to get monetized. But before we go, I'm going to show you something as far as monetization that might make you rethink whether or not you even care to hit that point. One second, guys. So yeah, Toyama Display says creating value is the key to sales. Ultimately, you're selling yourself and your personality as someone people want to watch and learn from. Yes. A cynical person would watch this stream and be like, oh, he just does everything he does for more views or more money or more something. And that's not the case. The reality is, again, if I was doing this for money, I wouldn't be doing this, right? I would be making 5 music business videos a month or a week because those videos perform really well and make me a lot more money. But yeah. Danny's writing Kicks. I appreciate it. That's my book, Kicks, created by BJ Kicks. Tim Sheeran is making his own comic book and needs all the help he can get. Good luck, sir. Does the idea of branching out and doing and talking about other things become daunting? I don't really talk about other things because they don't really perform well. I don't watch enough TV to like do like a TV review type series. So I kind of fit everything that I would love to talk about but don't get a chance to. That's what the Hangout's for. Here is a great question. How do you determine which sponsors to accept or deny? If I don't think I can bring you value, I'm not going to accept your sponsorship. Because if I accept your money and I don't think that I can get you a return on that money, then for me, that means I'm being dishonest. I don't like the way I feel. It feels like I'm taking advantage of someone. Likewise, if someone knows that I can provide immense value but doesn't want to pay me what that value is worth, then I feel that I'm being taken advantage of, right? So those are 2 big red flags. If there's a company that's like, hey, we want you to review our product on your channel, and in exchange, we'll send you 1 for yourself. Well, depending on what that product is, that might be a really cool product. And I might say, yeah, sure, absolutely, I'll do that because I want that product. But chances are, I'm going to get them way more sales than the 1 product they sent me. And it might be one-sided. So I might say, well, look, would you be willing to pay X amount for this? Right? I had one sponsor send me something. I reviewed that something. And then all of a sudden they were using my video in an advertisement without like licensing that from me. Right? Using my name, using my likeness to sell products on paid advertisements that I didn't authorize. That's not cool for me, right? So it's things like that when you talk about relationships and the reality is like it just needs to be, it's got to be symbiotic, right? There's a reason Venom and Eddie Brock work so well together. They both get something out of the deal, And that's what sponsorships are for, in my opinion. Another question that was right along with this: how did you get the Organic Price Books sponsorship? JP and I became friends on Facebook. He reached out to me and was interested in sponsoring the channel. This was sometime after we got 1,000 subscribers. And full transparency, because when you say sponsorship, you just assume people are just sending you a whole stack of money. That's not necessarily the case. That the way that partnership began was, hey, I'll send you 2 books a month, 1 book for you to keep and 1 book to give away to your audience. And since that relationship has evolved, but that's how it started. And so I, shouted them out in as many videos as I could. And, the relationship has grown. So my channel has grown. Organic Price Books has grown. We have a relationship where I can see exactly how much money I generate for that channel. And, it works really well for both parties. And as long as it continues to work well for both parties, you'll continue seeing Organic Price Books on the channel. If one day he's like, this isn't making me as much money as it should, maybe you won't. Or if I say, hey, you know what, this isn't making me as much money as it should based on what, they're making off me, then maybe you won't see OPB on the channel. But JP is a homie, so I don't think that'll happen. How cold is your dinner you haven't touched since your wife brought it to you? Considering that I put it under a vent, it's probably pretty cold. I should have just told her to wait. She asked me if I wanted her to put it in the microwave and just wait and eat it later. And I said no. I told her to bring it. So, oh wow. The French fries are ice cold. They taste so good though. Yo, I'd love to hear about your wood burnings. We have like a buy, sell, and trade group in the Discord. And then on my Facebook group, we do a creator showcase once a week, every Friday. So tomorrow you will see a post where I'm like, hey, creators, show off your work. You can post your wood burnings in that post. That way the whole squad can see your wood burning creations. And do collaborations improve your analytics, or are they done more for fun? So early on, and let's talk about that. Let's talk about what strategies I used to grow early, right? Because part of it was just massive effort, like just putting out as many videos as possible. That was one way. But then another thing happened. As I was putting out videos, other channels started to take notice and shout me out. So on those channels, they would do like these shout outs, or sometimes people would reach out for me for interviews. I got to appear on the Uncanny Omar's channel. And every, little shout out did help. The Just a Rican and his comics, he does a Sunday shout out show every Sunday. And the Sunday where he shouted my channel out, I got 20 subscribers that day when I normally would get like 3 or 4 in a day. That was over a year ago at this point. But yeah. So collaborations can be really, really helpful, not necessarily for analytics, but absolutely for exposure. Bunkmaster B says near mint condition is how he found me. So that was dope. Another thing that I did was I supported the channels that, I liked watching, right? So I would send super chats to the channels that I really liked. And I would say, hey, you inspired me. I started a YouTube channel. And, the Uncanny Omar was nice enough to say, oh, cool, let me check it out. And then he actually checked it out. So then the next time he saw me in the chat, and every time he sees me in the chat since, he'll be like, oh, BJ Kicks is here. He has a great channel. And every time it does help. It really does help. So it's supporting people who, you would support anyway, and not supporting them with the goal of getting something in return. Like, Omar provides a lot of value, right? I subscribe to his YouTube channel. I subscribe to his Patreon. And, he keeps me on top of all the Omni news. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're cool people. And so whenever I get a chance, I throw that support back, that $5, or in this case, that would be $3.50 after YouTube takes their cut. It helps. It helps. Magneto, I appreciate you watching. I appreciate it. And Carrie says, the shout outs feel really cool. I had a channel give me a shout out on Sunday and I got a couple subscribers. Yeah. And so shout outs are great, and collaborations are great, because no matter what, there's always somebody that hasn't heard of you. So the more people you can collaborate with, the more people you can get in touch with, the more chances you get to get in front of somebody who's not already in your audience. So yeah. And we've pretty much covered everything that I had prepared to talk about. The last question that I got was, hey, do you have any success tips for YouTube? I basically have said all these already, but 1, decide whether or not YouTube is for you. And 2, decide what type of YouTuber, or better yet, what type of person you want to be. And figure out what a price is going to be, right? Like, figure out what price is too high. What price is too high to pay? What is too much to sacrifice, right? This channel takes a lot of time away from my family. For some people, that would be a deal breaker. Spending 8 to 12 to 20 hours a week doing something in addition to their full-time job would be a deal breaker for them. I do it because it's something I'm passionate about, and because I think eventually, potentially, I won't need to have a full-time job if I keep on this track. Thank you, Kev. Thank you, Kev, for spotlighting that. Bunkmaster said, asking if the K Squad has had any impact on channel growth. I would say it's the inverse. People only know about the K Squad. There's 2 ways you find out about the K Squad. 1 is you watch one of my videos, and 2 is a member of the K Squad invites you or shouts out the K Squad on another platform, right? That second instance is a lot rarer, more rare. That's a better word. Second instance is a lot more rare. Chances are, if you're in the K Squad, it's because you saw one of my videos. On average, there are 550 members in the K Squad on Facebook right now. There are 4,400 subscribers on my channel right now. So I would say it's the inverse. Tim says, this is helping me a lot. A few friends and I are thinking about doing a comic, video game, and movie review YouTube channel. Do it. Just be careful with showing copyrighted content. I have a big TV in the back that I can't use for anything, because every time I play a video, even without sound, YouTube cuts down my live streams. So be careful with the movie reviews, but that's exciting. That's exciting. My man Tim is headed out. Thanks for watching, Tim. I appreciate it. I hope this was helpful for you, because this is so outside of my normal YouTube content. I did tell you guys that I was gonna get into numbers. So out of respect for my channel sponsors, I can't get into specifics on what I'm paid by any of them, but I can tell you how much money I make on YouTube. So I'm going to show you the last 28 days on YouTube. So in the last 28 days, we've got 200 new subscribers, 260 new subscribers, 23,000 views, and my estimated revenue from ads is $80.80. This number is down 30%. Because in the last 28 days, I've gotten way less revenue in super chats. I think the number in super chats is like actually $3. So without any contributions from my audience, this is what I can expect to take home just from YouTube. And that's with 23,000 views a month. Most smaller YouTubers that I see generally are getting about 1,000 to 1,500 views in a month. And at that number, right, you can see this is my revenue per 1,000 views. At $3.39 per 1,000 views, you can expect to see about $5 in YouTube revenue monthly, unless you massively, massively increase the amount of views on your channel. So, and that this was the last piece that I wanted to show people, because I know that people like super like idolize the 1,000 views and 4,000 hours of watch time. Their goal is to get monetized by YouTube so they can make some ad money. Ad money is straight. I mean, every little bit helps. It really does. And, if you have an audience that's willing to, give you, be charitable and send you super chats and stuff like that every now and then, that helps as well. That absolutely helps as well. But I say that just to kind of demystify, or hopefully, like, I don't want to say discourage people, because that's not my goal. But I want to give you a more realistic picture of what it looks like. When you see like how much money the ads bring in on my channel, then you realize how much work it takes for some of the more successful channels here, right? Like, so Near Mint Condition, my man Omar, he's one of my, mentors in my head, somebody that I look up to, somebody that I aspire to be like. His channel last month got 1 million views. 1 million. So if he got 1 million views, and assuming that he's making $3 per 1,000 views, he got 1,000 views, then that may have made him about $3,000. But it took 1 million views in a month to make him that money, right? And let's say, I'm not saying that's the amount he made. I don't know what his CPM is looking like. It's different for every creator. I don't know what sponsorships he may have or partnerships he may have. But if we're looking at it just from a YouTube ad standpoint, and just assuming 3,000 is the number, how much stuff did he have to buy to make this happen, right? The camera. You buy a good 4K camera, $1,500. The books. I tell you guys every week how much I spend on books. $50 a week. If it's a good week, maybe a little bit less, that's $200 a month. If I'm only going by YouTube AdSense, I am down $100 before I ever buy an omnibus. Ever. Assuming nobody sends me a super chat, right? If I get a bunch of super chats, then that's a whole different story. Speaking of, thank you, Kev. I appreciate the super chat. And thank you, Danny. He said, put the code BJ Kicks in the super chat. I appreciate it. Do you think, or Bunkmaster B says, given the crazy low YouTube amount of revenue, do you think there's ever a point that YouTube can fully sustain you? Or is YouTube a platform to lead to brand deals as far as going full time? Yeah, this is the case for any YouTuber. YouTube is never going to pay you an amount that is commensurate, that, that makes up for the amount of effort you put into it. YouTube is about helping you build an audience, and then you can kind of build that audience or monetize that audience in other ways, whether that's brand deals, sponsorships, merchandise. That's why, like, if you go to comicsaredope.com and buy a t-shirt, that helps me way more than you watching 1,000 of my videos, because that gets me like $5 directly. And it gets me $5 today, not $5 like a month and a half from now. So it's helpful. But again, it's all about value exchange, right? So if my audience finds value in what I'm doing, a super chat is charity. You don't get anything in return for a super chat except a good fuzzy feeling saying, hey, I supported a creator today. And that's the same good fuzzy feeling you get when you hand a couple of quarters to the Santa Claus outside of Walmart at Christmas time every year. right? There's nothing really obligating you to do that. And so I can't rely on it as a creator as much as it is amazing when it happens. And it's the same for YouTube AdSense. Something might happen. There might be a mass exodus from YouTube, right? All of a sudden, YouTube's not paying what they used to pay. I made $300 one month from this channel, and I made $90 the next month. It's so inconsistent. So when I'm thinking about how can I go full time with this, it's not YouTube. It's not from YouTube ad revenue or super chats. What would help me go full time would be sponsorships and other ways I provide value to my audience, right? If I have like a subscription, right, where I'm selling a subscription and you get a t-shirt every month or something, right? That's value. That's way better than me hoping and praying that you're going to give me $5 one day for doing absolutely nothing. So yeah, the short answer is YouTube is a platform to lead to other things. Speaking of super chats, haven't seen Shannon in a minute. Shannon's still here. Shannon, I've seen him in the K Squad. He's had some other stuff going on. He had like a tire blew on his truck and other stuff. And Shannon is like working really hard to grow his own channel, which is super dope. You should check out You Truckin' Nerd on YouTube. My man Trey says, thanks for the positivity in the community and sharing the knowledge. No problem, sir. Just so you guys know, I was not telling you about super chats to guilt anybody into super chatting. I fully appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Do not feel obligated. But thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. After I complete my milestone collection, I don't know what to do next. After I complete my milestone collection, I'll probably move on to, I don't know, Batman Omnis or something. Milestone is the only thing that I'm really trying to collect in single issues, only because presently there's no way to get it otherwise. There's no way to, there's no way to read all those stories without collecting all of those things. Gabriel, I don't know if I'm going to be on OPB's live stream tonight. Based on what I'm hearing outside of my office, my wife has had a rough time with the baby. So I'm going to relieve her. I might jump in OPB's live stream. They're not going live until 10 p.m. So another hour from now. Cool. Yes, Shannon did have issues with his laptopper. Yeah. So, and either way, right? Like Shannon's not obligated to come spend his Wednesday or Thursday nights in here with me. And he's certainly not obligated to be as generous as he's been in the past. I fully appreciate it. And he's the homie because of it. But that's not a condition of our friendship, nor is it a condition of my support for his channel. So Kev's got to go. And I've pretty much reached my limit as well. I'll wait like 5 minutes, or not 5 minutes. I'll wait a little while to make sure there's no last minute questions. And I'm going to eat another cold French fry. I don't know what this seasoning is, but it is awesome. All right, cool. Now that you guys watch me eat 3 cold French fries, I'm going to go warm up this food and really enjoy it. And I'm going to hang out with my wife. And it's going to be the night. Afro Sci-Fi says, great content. I appreciate it. I'm glad it was helpful for you. Laura says, Shannon should be coming back with another video in the next 2 weeks. Had some laptop problems. He'll be back soon. I'll be watching. All right. Bunkmaster B's got the last question of the night. And he says, what would you say has been your biggest mistake with the channel? It's hard because I don't necessarily frame it that way. Everything I do on my channel is a learning experience or practice for the next thing that I do on my channel. There are moments in life that I wish I would have been more present for while I was focused on growing this channel, right? Like, we got a baby, right? So my wife had to be pregnant in order for the baby to get here. And I started this channel the month after I found out she was pregnant. And it was like in a mad dash to see if I could make up what I was going to lose to like diapers or whatever in the budget. That's really why this channel got started, outside of me just loving talking about comic books and so on. I did have a goal to monetize it so that hopefully I could still afford to buy comic books. When my daughter was born early in March, I realized like that I basically missed my wife's pregnancy. My plan was, I'm going to put all this effort into this. I'm going to get it to a certain point, and then I'm going to slow down. I'm going to pull back from the channel. By the time I slowed down, the baby was here because she was born prematurely. So obviously, I couldn't control that timing. But that really is the lesson, right? You never know what you're missing out on to do another thing, right? There's always an opportunity cost. So in this case, growing this channel, kind of took that aspect away from me enjoying what I could of my wife's pregnancy. At the same time, it gave a lot back, right? Like when my daughter was born, you guys have heard the story. The K Squad was like 100 members strong. The K Squad had only existed for a month because the K Squad's anniversary is this Saturday, February 5th. But they created like a whole fundraiser and helped us with like Uber Eats and stuff like that. So, I feel like I sacrificed a lot, but I also gained a lot and gained like a lot of special fondness for this hobby and this aspect of the hobby. And a lot of why I do what I do and why I continue to try to find ways to make this work is because of the generosity of the community. So it's like only a halfway regret, but yeah, when I think back on it, there's no video that I regret making. There's not even necessarily an amount of videos that I regret making. There's just, I wish I had put more time into some other things, right? But hey, we're still in this experiment. It's still paying off in different ways, and it's going to continue to grow because, it's my job. I treat this like my second job or third job. And so that's pretty much what it is. And with that, I think I'm done. I think I'm all out. I always find ways to talk about whatever people ask me about. So, but I think that's going to be it for the night. Bandwagon fan says, thanks for doing this. I learned a lot. I'm thankful that you watched it. I really do appreciate it. Frank Castle also found me through Near Mint Condition. I'm glad you did, dude. I'm excited about the new Punisher series coming out. But yeah, so before I go, as I'm obligated to do, got to give a quick shout out to our channel sponsors. So shout out to Ultimate Comics. Thank you for being the greatest channel or greatest comic book retailer in the world. And let me figure out how in the world I'm going to uncover it. There we go. They got a new exclusive variant coming out for Hulk issue 5, if I'm not mistaken. It's an homage to Hulk 181, Incredible Hulk and Wolverine. So go to ultimatecomics.com. You can pre-order that, as well as their variant for Ghost Rider #1. It's one of those Marvel frame variants. It's really dope. It's really dope. I'm not saying that because they paid me. I'm saying it because it's dope. Shout out to Organic Price Books. The best place to go for collected editions. Thank you for sponsoring the channel. And if you guys want to buy collected editions, such as the Milestone Compendium that's out right now for Black History Month, because it's dope. I got one right here. I got another one on the way. But yeah, if you want to buy something, then if you do use my coupon code BJKicks, you'll save $2 and you'll be going a long way to help support the channel. And that's all I got. That is all I got. this look behind the scenes was fascinating. I'm glad that glad you enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys in the K Squad. Peace out, Trey. Peace out, Gabriel. Thank you all. Hope you saw something you liked in this video. And if not, that's cool. So you can always buy what you like. Just make sure you read what you buy and be nice to others, because kindness makes the world go round. Peace.